All right, there we go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Innovation Night featuring the Genius New York Pitch Finals. I'm Jeff Kulikowski, evening anchor at News Channel 9. I'll be your MC for tonight's event, and not on the news tonight because I'm here. My parents just learning that as they tuned in. This is actually my 9th time at this event. I think I've done it every single year, right? Has it been every single year? I love it here. Year after year, it feels like the energy just gets higher. The team's even more impressive, not to take anything away from the previous cohorts, but it just builds and builds and builds. The enthusiasm for the potential of all the entrepreneurs that you're going to see both here on stage and out at Innovation Alley and just across the region here. It continues to grow as we continue to build this high-tech ecosystem here. How's everybody doing tonight? We got a little something to eat, a little something to drink? Good. All right, I'm pretty sure you know how this goes. Tonight we will have 5 Genius finalists who will pitch their business with hopes of securing that $1 million grand prize. Pretty sweet. In all, though, there's another $2 million beyond that, so the runners-up don't go away empty-handed. They'll each get $500,000. The main event's going to be coming up in a bit, so we don't want to necessarily get right to it. We got a few things to do. In addition to what's going to be taking place on the stage tonight, in the ballroom, Innovation Alley. You probably saw it when you came in. It's back again this year. It's a great showcase of entrepreneurs and emerging technologies right here in Central New York's innovation ecosystem that we've talked about. You can, not right now, stay in your seats. I got you in your seats. I got to keep you here. But you can visit them outside the ballroom as well as the Empire Room just behind registration. There'll be a break a little bit later on so you can go out there. And maybe, I don't know, seems like there's a lot of cool things out there, but I think everybody wants to go check out the Amazon Prime drone, Prime Air drone, which will also be on display. They had a great event last night at the Innovation Hub. I encourage you to stop at their tables, chat with these innovators during our break tonight. It'll come up a little bit later after everybody does their pitches. As we get started, I'd like to recognize the people who make the Genius New York program and this event tonight possible. Doesn't happen without them. I'm going to have you just hold your applause until the end so we can kind of buzz through some of them here. First and foremost, this thing does not happen. We have to recognize Empire State Development for their investment in this program. We're going to hear from Dan a little bit later on, but yeah, all starts there. As well as the support of National Grid for their investment in innovation programming at Inspire. We want to extend our thanks to tonight's event sponsors. They include AIS, BPQ, Hancock Estabrook, New Air, One Group, the photo booth sponsor, Newman and Lichstein this year. Check that out. Technology sponsor, Visual Technologies. Thank you, Visual. And the fan favorite award sponsor is DoorDash this year. And supporting sponsor, we don't want to forget, Haler, Fryer, and Kuhn. Thank you, everybody. Give them a round of applause. Go ahead. They all make this possible. All right, I know you're all anxious to hear from the Genius finalists and their pitches, but we want to take this opportunity, and maybe one of my favorite parts of the night, because he tends to go off script a little bit. Never quite know exactly what he's going to say, but it's always very good. It's Center State CEO's Chief Executive Officer, Rob Simpson. Rob, the floor is yours.
I guess I got to go off script now, huh? Well, listen, good evening, everybody. It is great to be here. It's wonderful to see so many of you in this room. I am so excited about the innovation economy that exists here in Syracuse and Central New York today. This has been a lifelong journey for many people in this room. I'm looking at some of my friends Ken and Mark and David Montanaro and others who have been pushing and driving this strategy in our regional economy since before I even moved back to Syracuse in 2003. But let's not forget, tonight is about these 5 incredible teams, the technology that they are building, the way that they are looking to change markets and to change the world, and our ability as a region to be home to innovators like this, to invest our capital in innovators like this, and to continue to build on our strategy for UAS and unmanned systems as a critical anchor to our regional economy. I also just want to say thank you again. Our friend Dan Kalinsky, Empire State Development, Travis from National Grid, critical sponsors of the work that happens in the Inspire Innovation Hub. And as I'm watching that genius video, it feels great this year to be able to show that building and to reflect not only how our programming has evolved over all these years we've been working together, but the physical infrastructure that we are using to support our entrepreneurs finally reflects the quality of the entrepreneurs that are operating in that building. And that is one of the pieces that I am so incredibly proud of. You know, Jeff said it just builds and builds and builds. There is truth to that. This is all part of a strategy. And I think that's the piece that we have to remind ourselves of. We as a region have been investing heavily in positioning our companies here in this region to support the UAS ecosystem for nearly 15 years now. 15 years of constant effort. And there are some who say we invested that time and energy and effort and even resources long before the market was ready for us. And I think that, in fact, is true. But it also gave us a remarkable head start on a moment in time where the regulatory environment is finally catching up to the commercial marketplace and to the technology. And that moment in time that we are in, with Part 108 regulations coming out, our partnership with our friends at New Air is creating a chance for us to take upstate New York technology out to the rest of the world and to continue to showcase New York State's technology dominance and the remarkable innovation that happens in this region. Now, just some quick high-level statistics about this program. Since 2017, we have invested over $27 million in drone and drone tech startups. 47 companies overall, and those 47 companies have attracted more than $400 million in follow-on funding, thanks to the investment that our partners at NISTAR and Empire State Development allow us to make in these companies. That is a remarkable return on investment. That is capital that's being brought from other parts of the country and in some cases other parts of the world that's being put to work, in many cases right here in our backyard. And that is something I think we should all be proud of. Now, before I hand off to our next speaker, just three quick thank yous that I want to make. The first to my friend and my colleague, Nora Spillane, our Senior Vice President for Inclusive Growth, who oversees our entire programmatic portfolio. I'm so proud of the work that Nora has done to create teamwork and collaboration amongst the various components of our work, from workforce development to economic development to innovation, operating in concert with one another. So Nora, thank you for your leadership. Kara Jones. Kara, exactly. Kara has been the continuing force behind this program for a really long time, since its inception. And watching the maturation and the growth and the development, not only of this program, but of her own leadership, is something that has been a joy to watch. So Kara, thank you and congratulations to you. And my final acknowledgement is going to go to none other than John Liddy. Where are you, John? Okay, hiding in the corner, of course. I remember having a conversation with John several years ago about the fact that we had an opening over then at the Tech Garden and the need for some really deep experienced entrepreneurial leader to come in and help us do something creative, take our programs to the next level, help us build and open this new building. And John has delivered and more on every one of those commitments. We are sad to see you go, John, but we cannot thank you enough for the contributions you've made over the last 3 years to our work. That's all this is. It's just smart people working hard, building a sense of community, and having the good fortune to have partners like Empire State Development and Governor Hochul, who are willing to make long-term commitments and investments to help regions of our state compete and grow and win in the global economy. Nothing that we do here tonight would have been possible without that foresight and that leadership and that investment, $100+ million over the course of the last 15 years. So today, to represent our very good partners at the state of New York, my close friend, collaborator, colleague, Dan Kalinsky.
Problem with following Rob is you have to lower the microphone every time. Thanks, Rob. Really appreciate that. And honestly, it's really an honor to be here. We play really a very small role in what is a very impressive operation. So, Kara and the rest of the team, congratulations on tonight. I am really honored to be here on behalf of Governor Hochul and Empire State Development. And I have to say, standing here, this is now my third year standing here, so I got a few years to catch up to Jeff, but it's amazing that it's year 9. And I think what's most impressive about us being at year 9 is that this competition is at its best, and yet is going to continue to get better. I think every year we have just seen the level of competition between the finalists increase. I feel like the judges every year have a tougher and tougher job on picking who the finalist is going to be or who the winner is going to be. And that reputation now places Genius New York among the most preeminent accelerators, not just in the United States, but in the world. And so I first want to say to our finalists, congratulations. Tonight is a great night for you all. And unfortunately, the celebration will probably be short because tomorrow the real work will begin. I think we're going to see many of you in Detroit starting on Monday, so you're literally going to be off moving towards trying to sell your product to others who will hopefully utilize the great things that you are doing. Your ideas, your courage, and your willingness to push boundaries are exactly why this program works, and we cannot wait to hear everything that you're going to pitch tonight. I think what makes this evening even more special is that all of this innovation, all this world-class talent is happening right here in central New York. When someone breaks the mold or develops a new technology or discovers a better way of doing something, it captures that attention, and as our finalists know well, it often captures investment. So thanks to the vision and leadership of Governor Hochul, New York State has spent years building an ecosystem that supports innovation in the industry shaping the global economy. And nowhere is that more evident than in the uncrewed aerial systems sector. Here in central New York in particular, the governor has made it clear, we are not just going to participate in the industry, we're going to lead in it. From UAS to advanced air mobility, New York is investing in the infrastructure, the talent, and the partnerships needed to define the future of flight. Genius New York is a cornerstone of that strategy. With its focus on data, UAS, cybersecurity, analytics, and advanced manufacturing, this competition is creating a world-class acceleration experience for companies building scalable, data-driven businesses right here. Now, I know Rob mentioned the stats, but I do think that they are worth repeating. $27 million in direct investments to these companies has led to almost $500 million in private investment. I think anybody betting in Vegas would take those return every single time that they were making a bet. So this is clearly something that is worth continuing to invest in, and I know we are planning to be a part of that moving forward. But Genius New York is just one part of a much larger story. Since 2016, New York has been building the nation's premier destination for drones and uncrewed systems, a place where companies can test, can grow, can hire without ever leaving the state. We've invested $56 million to develop an FAA-designated test site. We invested $16.6 million in Center State CEO's Inspire Innovation Hub, which is right outside these doors. And if you have not seen the space yet, it's extremely impressive. I highly recommend stopping over and seeing all the great work that's happening there. We invested $21 million to support New Air, enabling testing and validation across a 1,900 square mile BV loss corridor, the largest such corridor that exists for testing anywhere, well, maybe outside of the North Dakota probably has something a little bit larger than us, but that's okay. We're not keeping score. And on top of that, they have now been given the first LOA from the FAA for commercializing the data that they are able to utilize through those sensors. So we are literally on the front edge of what is happening in drone technology right here in Central New York, and that is all because New York State decided to make a bet on this industry 10 years ago, and we're going to continue to bet on it moving forward. And the investments are clearly paying off. Just last week, Hidden Level, thank you to Mr. May for being one of our judges tonight, a homegrown Central New York company cut the ribbon on its new anechoic chamber, a major milestone that strengthens our region's position as a national leader in sensing technology. Congratulations to Hidden Level. Amazon's Prime Air, who many of you got to see the drone that will be flying in the skies of Syracuse next year, I believe is the plan for launch. They announced that Syracuse will be its next market for drone delivery, which is a huge vote of confidence in our ecosystem, our workforce, and our airspace infrastructure. And New York State was just awarded an FAA EIPP designation, which is a very big deal, especially being a blue state in this given environment, that further cements our leadership in advanced air mobility and opening the door to new partnerships, new testing and opportunities, and new commercial applications. So these are not isolated wins. They are the result of a coordinated, long-term strategy and one that is working. Because of these efforts, New York has become one of the most attractive places to do business. Companies like Micron, TTM Technologies, and so many others are choosing Central New York because they see what we see. A region on the rise, powered by innovation, collaboration, and a belief in what's possible. And tonight's finalists, your ideas, your technologies, your ambition are helping to push that momentum further. You are expanding the boundaries of what this region and this state can achieve. So thank you, all of you, for allowing me to be a very small part of this incredible evening. Thank you to Rob and to Kara and to the entire Center State team for your leadership and your partnership, and most of all, your friendship. This is not easy work that we do, and it definitely takes a village in order to do the things that we do every day, and so I appreciate your constant support in what we're trying to accomplish. The work that you are doing and that we are doing is shaping New York State and the future of our regional economy, and if the past 9 rounds of Genius New York are any indication, we know that the future is very bright. With that, let's take a closer look at some of the ways that Genius New York is making an impact here in Central New York. Thank you.
Genius New York is the world's largest accelerator for autonomous systems. We invest $3 million a year into 5 early stage companies.
If you think about this program, we have invested more than $27 million in 45 startup companies in the drone and unmanned system space.
And we help them scale their companies here in Central New York.
We have an ecosystem of talent, and we have an ecosystem of companies that Genius New York has developed, and this gives every company in this ecosystem an enormous advantage over companies that are outside of the area.
Since joining the program, we have been able to grow the commercial team from here, both our CRO, our wildlife scientists, and a lot of people that actually grew up here are able to work for Flux Intelligence from here, which is pretty cool.
Central New York is a great place to scale because it is the hub of innovation that allows us to service an existing built environment that is ready to be equipped for the next stage with customers, investors, and an ecosystem that allows our technology to grow exponentially across the region.
Central New York has quietly become one of the most advanced regions in the world for autonomous systems. So teams are able to not only test here, build here, scale here, but also be surrounded by a community that really supports their growth.
I think I'm the most proud of the fact that Central New York has developed a global reputation as one of the most important centers for drone and unmanned systems and advanced air mobility innovation anywhere in the world. We are attracting startup companies from around the world. We are helping those companies raise capital, and those companies are growing and scaling jobs and impact. Central New York is a region that is finally embracing innovation as a core component of its economic future.
Good stuff, good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Rob, too, as well, and great video. For the folks that are standing just in front of the doors, I just got to ask you, try to move to the side. I think there may be a few open seats. If not, it's just kind of a safety thing, so we make sure we can get people in and out if we need to be. Thank you. Now, tonight is a celebration of innovation, and that extends beyond the impressive stories of growth and ingenuity that you'll see from the genius teams. It also includes the companies you'll find in Innovation Alley. You definitely want to check those out, like those in Center State CEO's Clean Tech Accelerator. Past genius teams, or others supported by Center State CEO programming. It's really made possible thanks to investments and support by many important partners. That includes National Grid, which has funded the Clean Tech Accelerator and is also a key supporter of the Genius New York program, including its new space, and it looks beautiful, at the Inspire Innovation Hub. Here to say a few words on behalf of National Grid is Regional External Affairs Manager Travis Glazier.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight's really about one thing: people coming together around ideas. Founders, students, mentors, partners, investors, community leaders, all in one room, exchanging ideas, making connections, and imagining what's next. Innovation Night in spaces like the Inspire Innovation Hub matter because entrepreneurship doesn't happen in isolation. Many companies come through the Inspire building, and the programs, past and present, didn't start as a fully baked plan. They started with simple conversations. And I know, years ago, I was a tenant at the original Tech Garden. While the space I had was modest and it didn't have windows, people brainstorming in the hallways, ideas being scribbled on whiteboards, founders learning from one another in real time is what you saw everywhere. Innovation Night captures that same feeling, just in a bigger scale. Support from partners plays a critical role in making nights like this possible. National Grid has been a long-standing supporter of innovation and clean tech entrepreneurship in Central New York, having committed over $1.2 million to Genius New York, Center State's Clean Tech Accelerator, and the Inspire Innovation Hub. That investment isn't just about the programs and facilities. It's about creating opportunities for ideas like this to grow. You'll see that tonight. The startups that are being showcased on stage and in the Innovation Alley, whether it's drones and AI, clean technology and sustainability, or some brand new concept that we haven't even heard about yet. They're all part of an ecosystem that's creating conditions where innovation can take hold. Thank you to everyone that made Innovation Night possible, to the entrepreneurs that came out and are taking a risk, to Center State CEO team that's supporting them, and to the community that continues to believe in building the future together right here in Central New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. I don't know if Travis remembers when we used to go chase Emerald Ash borer out there when you were with the county. Yeah, it was fun, those little pests. We're almost ready to hear from our Genius New York teams. I know they are excited. You guys excited? Where are they? Are most of the teams over there? Yeah, I know they're excited to share those technologies with everybody here and their innovative solutions to all of you. But here at the front of the room, there's 5 people that we want to recognize because I think you guys probably do have the hardest job of the night. So let's take a moment to welcome and thank tonight's panel of judges because they bring a tremendous amount of expertise in their fields, as well as it's really a passion. I mean, some of you have been back year after year to do this. You really want to see these people succeed, so it's great to have you here. So we have, where's Liz? Liz Foro, there's Liz she's the policy advisor with Hogan Lovells and policy director of the Commercial Drone Alliance. Liz, good to see you again. Thank you so much. Rami Katz is the CEO of Excel Partners. Rami, thank you so much for being here. Back again this year, there's Kevin May right in the center. He's the Vice President of Products and Programs at Hidden Level. And yes, also congratulations. The new place looks really great. I love the room with the foam. Has that got a special name or just the foam room? Foam room, I like it. Yeah, simple. Karen Roth's also here. She's the defense consultant at the Roosevelt Group and a former deputy director of AFWorks, which is the innovation arm of the U.S. Air Force. I like AFWorks better, it flows. And last but not least is our executive director of the New York State Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation, better known as NYSTAR. It is Ben Verschuren. Ben, good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, those are the judges. We're glad they've given their time and they got their job starting in just a minute. Read about them more in the programs. Those programs are nice and glossy. They're pretty cool. Check them out. Read more about them. Now, as part of this competition process, the teams also met with the judges yesterday for a more in-depth technical pitch. So thank you for spending that time yesterday with all the teams. All right, I think this is what we've been waiting for, right? Let's begin the pitches. So again, each team will have 5 minutes for their presentation, and they've got a clock, so we'll try to keep them to that. Then following each of the presentations, the judges will have 5 minutes for a Q&A with each team, and then these experts will eventually decide who walks away with that $1 million top prize, and then the 4 remaining teams, they each get $500,000, so they don't walk away empty-handed. Best of luck to all the Genius New York teams. All right, let's get started. That's why we're all here. First up tonight is Lamar AI. Go get them, Lamar.
Pitch night means the world to us because we're coming back from a journey of R&D and commercialization. We see ourselves as a collaborator.
This is a culmination of our long years of research, translating into something very meaningful, and doing it in central New York just makes it extra special.
Syracuse, I want you to think about the buildings in your life. Your home, your school, your hospital. You would not be surprised that we spend 90% of our time in buildings, and that the building exterior is the first line of defense for these places that we call shelter. So we have automated building exterior diagnostics because the current methods are slow, expensive, dangerous. They do not scale and are fragmented. You don't know why you're paying a high energy bill or where that pesky draft is coming from. And definitely you would not be able to do this for a portfolio of buildings. There is more than $100 million that are wasted annually in the United States on defective envelopes, and more than 75 million buildings were built before the year 1980, which means that they don't adhere to any envelope standards. And that is why we have been fascinated with building exteriors. I came to the United States 15 years ago to pursue a PhD in building technology from MIT, and I met my partner in crime, Senem, when I joined Syracuse University, and together we invited Norhan and John from MIT, and when I moved to Georgia Tech, the 3 institutions worked together with funding from the Department of Energy to develop this proprietary, awesome technology that I'm about to show you. We are using drones, but we are not a drone company. We are systematically scanning buildings through commoditized drones and collecting thermal and regular images. Then our speed is 10 times faster, 25 times less costly, and we're 50% more accurate than the traditional methods. Our software translates this data to 3D models with the defect root-caused and mapped onto it. We tell you where missing insulation is and where water intrusion, God forbid, is. And that our advanced simulation translates this to CapEx planning and decision-making tools, making energy modeling the way to understand not just how to fix the issues, but how much it would cost you, and what is the return on your investment for your energy bill. And so we are considering this technology like giving your building an MRI and revolutionizing health monitoring for the built world. We are very happy with how we have been engaging with customers in all kinds of sectors, and we love working with customers, and also they love us. We have construction companies saying that we're giving them new levels of insight, with cities telling us that we're helping them with their cost maintenance goals, and with hospitals, with water intrusion, which is really our target markets. Hospitals are a 24/7 operation. They're also in a situation where inspection becomes a risk to patients, but water intrusion becomes a clinical threat. If you are in a place where you're supposed to heal, you can't be really exposed to allergens and, God forbid, mold. So this is why we're focusing with hospitals. We are a proud Syracuse, New York company. We're headquartered here and we're serving 5 countries and more than 19 states. Since we launched in 2023, we are at 3x year-over-year growth in terms of revenue. Our target this year is 1.1 million. We've served more than 50 customers, and we are proud to say that we have unlocked more than $50 million of savings in terms of cost avoidance and energy reduction. And of course, we are serving New York State. We are anchored in Syracuse, where we have given talks all across, from Syracuse University and University at Buffalo all the way to Oswego. We also have worked with an underserved community in the Bronx. We have audited 8 of University at Buffalo's buildings, and we've also scanned our own home, the Inspire building, and collaborated with 2 genius New York companies. Our latest piloting customer is Upstate Medical University, and this is the largest employer in Central New York. And that is why we're asking for support from Genius, because we want to extend our early traction to raise a seed round. We also want to continue hiring locally. We've hired Jeffrey Lyman as head of our operations, and we want to hire for product, and we want to amplify our impact with New York State customers. And in order to do so, Syracuse, we have a proposal that we want to make Genius history with. We want to invest a portion of the funding that Genius would give us to scan all 13 major New York State children's hospitals at no cost. We want to start with Golazano right here in Syracuse, do the rest of upstate New York's children's hospitals, and then do the rest of New York City's metropolitan region. Because if we're spending 90% of our time in buildings, then we owe it to ourselves and especially our children, for these buildings that are meant to heal them, to never harm them. Thank you so much. I would like to invite the Lamar AI team to join the stage. As they are coming up, we named the company Lamar as a tribute to the actress Hedy Lamarr, who was very well known as a beautiful actress, but she was also an inventor. And she invented frequency hopping technology, which is the basis for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi encryption, but she was not known for it. So we dedicate the name of the company to all innovators who did not gain prominence for their inventions during their time, especially women like Hedy Lamarr.
Tarek, thank you for a great presentation, very energizing. So obviously you brought a cutting-edge technology into a new market, but the challenge with this market, as we've learned, is real estate owners, operators are very hesitant about spending money. What's your plan to address kind of the point of indecision? How do you get them to actually adopt this and spend money and scale to generate revenue for Lamar?
Absolutely, thank you for this. When real estate owners are having challenges with what to spend money on, we have tailwinds of regulatory compliance that you have to adhere to, which means you have to do a building scan. And when we are faster, less costly, and more accurate, it's a no-brainer. And when we're working with an entire portfolio, we're helping you in managing CapEx planning. However, we are going to get faster to these customers when we're collaborating with engineering companies that would be helping us in working with multiple customers at the same time to bring that product faster and much more effectively.
Thank you, great presentation. If anybody can't see, they also have wonderful shoes. It's worth being able to see what's up there.
We bleed orange.
Yeah.
Thank you, one guy.
One thing you shared with us yesterday is this is based not on publicly available data, but you've actually spent a long amount of time to build a highly annotated data set. Can you talk a little more about what that creates for a data moat for you, but then also have you thought about other opportunities for additional revenue around that data
Absolutely. Our data is a work of love over the past decade since we started the research at Syracuse University, and we have been basically labeling it in such a way that it becomes proprietary to us. It's an effort between computer science and architecture to have this data moat that no one else has, with more than 50,000 images that give the proprietary insights to building technology. And of course, the data is usable in multiple ways that include expansions to other markets, as well as the data itself as an asset that opens opportunities, and that is as much as I can say publicly. Thank you.
Hi again. So your team is primarily comprised of some brilliant researchers, academics. What is your plan to scale to the business acumen you're going to need to really scale the company in turn?
Absolutely. First of all, it is true that the founding team is researchers, academics, and have built this exciting technology. However, the leadership team includes Ben Rocky, MBA from MIT, Jeffrey Lyman, who's heading operations and an exited founder. So we do have in the leadership this kind of ability. As we are entering the seed stage, we are hiring a biz dev team that includes head of sales, SDR, and marketing, so that what we've built so far, which has been exciting and impactful, has the process to scale not just across New York State, but also nationally and globally. Thank you.
Wonderful to see you all again. Let's talk just about your competitor space.
Yes.
So if I'm on the fence, if I'm trying to make a decision, today, how this work is done, you showed some images, but can you talk a little bit more, you gave us some high-level statistics, but a little bit more in the weeds about the time-cost comparison between using your technology, your solution, and not using it?
Absolutely, we have the data because we've done the research and we know from customer experiences. I'm going to tell you what our customers tell us. When they go to technology companies that claim in the same space, they tell us that they are cost prohibitive. So the most important thing is our tech stack is automated in such a way that we are affordable, which means that we have no hardware restrictions because we're using commoditized drones, a data set that enables us to be very powerful, but also a technology stack with a click of a button, you get the reports out. When you compare us to the traditional means, when we're talking about the time spent to be inspecting a building, for example, getting a report in 6 months to a year versus getting it in days, versus the CapEx deployment decisions you can make at a portfolio when the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So you have like 100 buildings and you're just listening to a whack-a-mole kind of situation. We are going to make you do the informed decision, and that, of course, also means that we're giving you a more comprehensive approach that is much more accurate when you compare it to the limitations of traditional and current technology approaches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's time.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Is this not on? Or did he? Is it on? Check. There we go. There we go. I see what you did. Thank you, Lamar AI. Great presentation right there. Off to a really good start. Our next team up is going to be Motovolo, and I think they need a second to, yeah, come on up and go ahead and set up your drone right there. Thank you again, Lamar. That's what you want out of your leadoff hitter, right? You want them to get the inning started, right? I think they did a great job. We got 4 more teams to go. Wow, that's big. I don't want to break it. It looks expensive. Believe me, I can't afford that. Motovolo is going to be the next team to pitch here. We got a short little video, and then they're going to be able to do their pitch.
What inspired us to launch the company was that we spent several years in a garage developing prototypes, and we decided to show the world what we had done, and the reaction was overwhelmingly positive. When customers are saying they need and want your product, it is just a great feeling. We're very familiar with upstate New York because we've grown our families here, and we founded the company here, and we're staying here.
Okay, ready? All right, hi. I'm Justin Call, CEO and co-founder of Motovolo. And today, we are going to introduce you to a revolutionary product and a revolutionary business model that we believe are going to change the world. Before I do that, an introduction to our leadership team. This is going to come off as a shameless brag, but we've done some cool stuff. 3 successful exits, C-130 pilot, aerospace engineer, and the designer of the iRobot. Okay, let's dig into it. The biggest problems facing drone operators are payload capacity and flight time, because as General Ed Daly states, we can only complete the mission with the right payload in the air. Okay, so why is that? Everyone, that's not a big secret. Everyone knows that's important. The problem is this. This is the industry standard design. The design itself is a problem because, I'm sorry, let me start over. The design itself is just hard to look at. It's a bad design. But that's not its biggest problem. Its biggest problem is complexity, because this design has over 2,000 parts. More parts means it weighs more, and that means less flight time. More parts means it's difficult to build, so it's expensive, it's fragile, and it's difficult to repair. Okay, so how are we going to solve this problem? Well, what we're going to do is get rid of the industry standard design. We're going to get rid of complexity. We're going to add simplicity. Simplicity creates a revolutionary drone, because simplicity means 2 interconnected, amazing things. Higher performance, radically reduced cost. This has 2,000 parts. We have 118 parts, including the screws. Less parts means less weight. That increases flight time. Less parts means it's easier and faster to build. That decreases cost. Increases durability. Increases repairability. Okay, so we're constantly reducing the number of parts. This is our new proprietary power distribution board. It combines 3 parts into 1. So now we're at 116 parts. All right, so we also have the world's first and only payload-centric design. This completely changes the user experience, because instead of trying to mount a payload underneath like you're milking a goat, you simply grab the payload and you drop it in. Quick, simple, and fast. And if you're a warfighter in a combat zone, that could mean the difference between life and death. Payload-centric design also enables hundreds of missions with just 1 drone. Our customer, Captiva Island Search and Rescue, shows why this is so important. Because in 1 day, they could be searching for a missing person, rescuing someone from drowning, emergency communications relay. By the way, this is a picture of us at a training exercise with them and a partner, ResTube, a few weeks ago. Okay, Inficon is another great example of why payload capacity is so important. They have an amazing handheld chemical detection device, but the warfighter needs to go into the hazardous area to do this. Clearly a better job for a drone. That's why Inficon and Motovolo are partnering up to create a combined solution to solve that problem. And we're doing the same thing with many other technology partners. This is a revolutionary business model, by the way. Okay, we are not just a drone company. We also design and build our own production equipment, including our own proprietary 3D production printer that we affectionately call the BFP. Okay, so the BFP is something that our military customers like Camp Grayling, Aberdeen Proving Ground, and JBLM love, because not only do they want our drone, they want the ability to repair it fast, near the battlefront, and at very low cost. So we've taken our production capability, including the BFP, and we've created a product that we call Factories as Service. So this is us at a military exercise at Camp Grayling. And we are founded here in upstate New York, and we are staying in upstate New York. Thank you very much.
Are you sure we have everyone?
This is almost everyone.
Okay, so we spent a lot of time yesterday really talking about the printer technology as well from this.
Yeah.
So imagine yourself, you're 10 years from now, you're introducing your company. Are you a drone company that conveniently does some 3D printing on the side, or are you a 3D printer company that produces some drones?
So the answer is both, and I know that that's not a great answer, but it's true because what we see from our military customers is that the 3D printing technology does set us apart from our competitors in a big way. But where that becomes very interesting, and the reason why I say both, Karen, is that all of this is connected. It's not just one thing. So in order to build this radical design, you need to have our production system. Like they're not inseparable. And that's why when we design products, we do it under something that we call performance to cost, meaning that we are going to push the envelope on performance, but we don't let our engineers cheat. They also have to focus on reducing the cost. So that forces them to think about things like, okay, I can't do injection molding because that's too expensive and I can't innovate fast enough. That's what forced us into thinking about the production system. And the production system forced us into thinking about how can we innovate the drone. So it's a continuous loop. It's not just one thing. It's a system, a capability. Great question, thank you.
So let's kind of maybe address the production side, the 3D printing side. So somebody who's been deployed into military forward operating positions, love bringing production capacity, fixing capacity to the front line.
Yeah.
So, but that requires some level of scale. So talk to me about the balance between what is your yield, what can you actually produce, and how does it make a difference, right? Because if it's a handful of drones, I don't really care about it in kind of brigade level, right? Because I need large numbers.
Yeah.
I care about small numbers very, very upfront, but that's challenging because as a warfighter, you don't gonna stop, change the screws and fix it, right? You send it at the home base.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that dynamic.
So this is why how we developed our 3D printer is so unique and awesome. So the drone itself, very simple, very few parts. That's not the only place that we do that. Our printer system has the same performance to cost metric. That means it has way fewer parts, way cheaper to build. So it's 5 sub-assemblies, that's it. Very few parts for a 3D printer. With just producing 150 of those a month, which is totally achievable, either by ourselves or with our development partners like Marquardt that we're working with. They're based in Cazenovia. We can easily ramp up to 150 BFPs a month, and that gets us to like 1,800 to 2,000 a year. That gets us to 10,000 a month. So within a year, we could easily ramp that up to those numbers.
So you can do several hundred BFPs a month. How many drones can you print with that?
That would get you to 10,000 per month. And that would be like $1 billion company.
With 150 drones?
Yeah. And that would only be like 20 million-ish in capital cost. 18?
25.8 million.
Okay. Listen to the cheap product.
Approximately.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see everyone again. So, as you may know, the FCC recently published a new policy that pushes a lot of domestic drone companies in the United States to substantially increase domestic sourcing of their hardware.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how that policy has potentially changed your business strategy?
It hasn't changed our strategy, but it definitely gives us a lot of tailwind. So the biggest problem in the drone industry now is supply chains. Like, you really have to like buddy up in order to get enough parts. But that is a good problem for us because we've always been very vertically integrated. So like, that's why I was showing this power distribution board. This is next level cool. Like this, I said, it replaces 3 parts into one. This also is cheaper by hundreds of dollars, and it's more capable than what's on the market. So again, performance to cost principle is an important engineering principle for us, and that means that we're doing things like this to increase domestic manufacturing here, right here in Central New York.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Oh, I guess that's it. Okay, cool.
All right, great job. Thank you so much, Motovolo. Excellent presentation. Our next team, that's already 2 down. So we're up to number 3. Our third team that is going to present tonight is Lighthouse Avionics. I know that Lighthouse, I think, do they have something to, yep, a little something to display as well? How's everybody doing so far, right? This is the exciting part of the night, right? Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Lighthouse will have a little display here. I also guessing I don't want to knock this over, right? No, probably not. No. No. You good? Good. We'll get a quick video and then their presentation.
As part of Genius New York, we've been connected with a whole bunch of different companies in the space. The network of people here is amazing. There's so many connections. If you don't know someone in the space, you're definitely at least only one step away from meeting anyone. Being part of Genius New York has significantly increased our visibility. It expands kind of the people that are aware of us, and I think it brings us a lot of value.
Hello, everyone. Less than 1%. That's the portion of the airspace below 400 feet the FAA can reliably detect non-cooperative aircraft today. Less than 1%. And what they can detect, they can't actually see. It's either a blip on a radar screen or a report they have to trust from the aircraft itself. We're Lighthouse Avionics, and our mission is to bring sight to low-altitude airspace. This is Victor, our virtual control tower system. Victor has 42 4K cameras, processes over 15 billion pixels per second, has pinpoint accuracy utilizing an integrated laser rangefinder, and provides high accuracy AI classification of objects in the airspace. No more flying blind. Victor's deployed today supporting 3 primary applications: countering unlawful drone activity, enabling safe and legal drone flights further than pilots can see, and remote control tower for airports. And yes, we do know there's a resemblance to another robot with its head in the clouds. Now here's some demos of what Victor can do. For countering drone activity, we have a whole host of interested customers, including the Air Force, Army, DHS, critical infrastructure sites, and prisons. In addition to detection, tracking, and classification, we're also working on mitigation methods. And with our partner, we've already integrated a laser system that allows us to deter drone pilots, blind onboard sensors, and prevent surveillance. And we just launched Alpha Maverick, our Victor Mini system deployed on our partner's security trailer. This allows us to take counter-drone surveillance and bring it anywhere you can park a trailer. Now here's a quick demo of Victor supporting a drone mission. You can see in the bottom left of the screen, Victor was deployed on a tower watching over the mission. This is a real drone first responder response. A 911 call came in about a stopped garbage truck and an unresponsive driver. The drone pilot was able to get eyes on the scene immediately and redirect the ground response to the right location. This saved 60 seconds on the response, which is enough time to save lives. While the pilot was laser focused on the mission, Victor was watching the airspace, and he'd be shocked what we find up there. On this particular mission, Victor was watching for manned aircraft. If there were any potential collisions with the drone operation, we would provide an immediate audio and visual alert to the pilot to drop the drone down to a safe altitude. That's what keeps the drone flight safe and legal. Victor's also deployed for remote control tower applications. This brings enhanced safety, higher capacity, at a lower cost. Compared to competing solutions for this application, Victor's less than 10% of the cost. I'm honored to represent an incredible team. On board, we have a PhD computer vision engineer with 3 decades of experience at companies like GE, ASML, and Samsung. We have a commercial pilot with 3 decades of experience in the cockpit. We have a former chief of police, and we have an innovator who licensed patents to Tesla and who led the electronics design for the Millennium Ball in Times Square. And our most recent hire, he's turning in his credentials at the Pentagon at the end of the month to come join Lighthouse. He's a retired Army colonel with 24 years of experience in missile defense and counter-drone. And he spent 5 years in the Pentagon's Joint Staff Counter-Drone Office. The reason we were most excited to be selected for the Genius program is for the incredible network here. Each of the logos on the screen represents a partner we've either worked with already or we've put in a project proposal with. In total, on projects that we've led, we've already brought over $300,000 of funding to this ecosystem of partners. And across 16 pending project proposals, we have nearly $1 million of additional project funding budgeted for these partners. And we're super excited to do more. Remember, when you think of Lighthouse Avionics, our mission is to make airspace visibility as ubiquitous as cell coverage. Thank you, everyone. I'm Tyler, and we're Lighthouse Avionics.
Thank you for that very good presentation. So we talked a lot yesterday about your system. We got into some of the technical details. We know that you're an optical system primarily in a space with a lot of radar, a lot of RF detection. What sets your technology apart from the competition in a very saturated market? For example, why would I want yours versus others? What does it give me that your competitors don't?
Yeah, so there are a few niche applications where optical has an advantage, and so those would be areas where you want a passive sensor for some reason. So if you can't actively transmit because it gives away your position, that'd be one area. Another area is where you want to augment existing coverage. So if you have radar systems already there, this is a different detection modality that would be able to cover things that have low radar cross-section but high optical cross-section. So it's an augmentation to existing detection layers, or there's certain niche applications where you need a passive system and you need to not be actively transmitting.
Thanks, and great presentation. So when we talk about optical, so I drive a car that has enhanced cruise control based on only optical sensors, and I know that it struggles when it rains, it snows, the sun shines directly in it. Are there any inherent limitations to your technology or conditions under which performance degrades?
Yeah, so we're limited to the visibility. So we're limited to line of sight. So if you only have 3 miles of visibility, we're limited to 3 miles of coverage. However, we have a high overlap on the drone market of when you're allowed to fly anyway. So if you have optical coverage for less than 3 miles, if you don't have line of sight, you can't get an approval to fly anyway. It's already part of the regulations. So there's high overlap there, so that kind of masks the weakness, but yes, we are limited by environmental conditions.
So following up on the competition question, tell us a little bit more about the basis for how you created the competitive analysis, specifically within the optical market. So you talked a little bit just about optical, what the benefits of optical are. What are your specific benefits over the rest of the optical market, and how did you do that competitive analysis?
Yeah, so the way that we designed the product was to optimize the pixels on target and then optimize the coverage area per dollar that we're providing. So the way we were able to do that is leveraging other optical systems is they triangulate so they don't get good range on the object. So they have to put multiple units in different locations and triangulate the location of the object that they're looking at. What we've done is we've created a system where we can toggle up this top camera to go zoom in on the object, hit it with the laser rangefinder, and position it with just a single unit. So instead of needing to mesh several, you can deploy one for certain applications. So that's one advantage that we saw out there in the optical space. And the other is the ability to use low-cost sensors and optics and then use a ton of them. So that's kind of the way that we've optimized our system.
So you've packaged a lot of commercial off-the-shelf hardware into the system and wisely package it and put it into a great use case. In your opinion, what is the most valuable or most unique piece of IP in your system?
So I think some of the most valuable things we have are the data set that we've collected. So we have deployed units in the field, and we've been collecting video and detections and tracking for years, for 5 years now. I think that's very valuable. I do think the handoff of the lower set, so it's a fully optical system, and it hands off the lower set to the upper set, and then we can actively engage the laser rangefinder, is also pretty unique on a low-cost system.
Can you talk a little bit about your commitment to Central New York and our region? How does the company grow here?
Yeah, so there's an incredible network of folks here. Some of the ones we work most closely with are New Air, Resilience. The political buy-in is excellent for the region. And so I had the slide about the partners that we've worked with, and we've brought funding to these project partners. We want to stay where our partners are at. We want to be close to them, and we have some things in the works on working with folks like New Air and Resilience that I can't talk about right now. But we really want to work with these partners. We really want to make it work here in Syracuse.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Thank you, Lighthouse Avionics. Imagine, we're already 3 pitches in. We actually only have 2 left, flying by. Here's a quick programming note to check out those programs, because it's kind of like a play on words. Thank you, whoever put that down. I love it. Love play on words. So here's how this works, why you want to grab your program. The team at Center State CEO really wants you to come check out their co-working space at the Inspire Innovation Hub with their new day passes. So take them out. They have hid 50 of those day passes in the printed programs that have been handed out tonight. It's kind of like being at the Syracuse Mets and you look in your program and you win some sort of prize. These are the day passes. So they give you a full day of co-working at Inspire with access to its vibrant space and a chance to connect with its community of entrepreneurs. Who got them? Anybody? Has anybody found one yet? Let me see. It's like a Willy Wonka. Yeah, all right, yeah. Well, all right, there we go. Yeah, it's real, like a Willy Wonka golden tickets. Beautiful. All right, let's get back to the pitches here. We have our 4th team of the night. It is Skyfire AI. Let us hear from Skyfire.
Being accepted into the Genius New York program was validation of what we've been working on for a number of years. Coming back to Central New York has been a lot of fun, discovering all the new things here, exploring with all my cohort colleagues. That's been great. I've worked in other major cities. They just don't have the community support that you find here in Central New York. We're very excited about Pitch Night, to be able to share with the community about what Skyfire AI is doing.
All right, thank you very much. My colleague, Todd Edelman, who's sitting right over there. So thanks so much for having us, Skyfire AI. So my name is Don Mathis. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Skyfire, joined here with several of my colleagues. Skyfire AI is a native AI company that develops and deploys autonomy and multi-ship, which is also called swarming solutions for drones. And we deploy our solutions in critical or mission critical environments. That's often in our case on behalf of law enforcement, it's on behalf of military, it's on behalf of public safety, as well as fire, EMS, and commercial applications that are roughly similar. So what I want you to think about is a drone gets deployed on the basis of a 911 call in order to respond to an accident or to a life-saving critical situation. Think of 5 drones or 6 or 7 that are deployed in a search and rescue pattern to find a lost child in the woods. Think about 25 drones that are deployed in the spirit of forward operating base protection if you're talking about a forward deployed Marine battalion, for example, in a contested territory. So I'll give you a couple of images here. By the way, everything you're about to see comes from actual deployments of the company, which I'll revert back to in a moment. But I want you to think about, just hypothetically, to get a sense of what we do. If at the beginning of my talk, someone had a cardiac arrest, God forbid, but if someone here had a cardiac arrest, your odds of surviving that at the 7-minute mark are less than 90% odds that you won't survive it without immediate medical attention. So the question is, how do you get that? The problem is ambulances, the average ambulance response time is 7 minutes in the United States. In a rural area, it could be 20 to 30 minutes. So the question is there a way to do it faster? And the answer is yes. If you use a Skyfire deployed DFR-based drone, it can get there in 4 minutes or less. And in fact, our average response time from the clients that we've served is 3 minutes. That's not theoretical or hypothetical for us, actually, because we have a contract with CVS Health to deploy a solution to do exactly that across the country, ultimately. And we have an agreement in principle with the National Health Service of the UK to do the same thing there, starting with rural areas and moving to more urban areas. In fact, Skyfire in the last 18 months has received credit for saving 14 lives so far through a combination of delivering critical life-saving medications, in addition to search and rescue, and in at least in one case, a police officer where we were able to direct help, find a police officer, and direct help to that officer who was being attacked by a violent assailant. So that is what we do and what we take very seriously. It's really a mission-based business for a lot of us as we pull the company together. Let's talk about Genius New York. In the time that we've been here, almost half of all the major progress that the company has been achieved in part and thanks to being a part of this program. We have developed an entirely new strategy that it builds on the strategies we've already deployed, some of which I've talked about, to develop DFR, drones for first response, as an infrastructure where we're going to roll that out to multiple locations across the country. And we're not just going to develop it in Genius New York, didn't just give us the ability to develop it here. We actually developed it in collaboration with a number of the companies here. Motovolo and Lighthouse, who we've heard from today, great, fantastic companies. Vodex, who was from a previous cohort. New Air. This is one of the geniuses of Genius New York for us to be able to collaborate and develop from that perspective. I think probably most importantly, at least in the immediate term, we just raised $11 million of capital. We announced it last week. The credibility that came from being a part of this program opened the door for us and helped us raise that capital. And now we're going to deploy it back into continuing to develop here, including, if you look at the bottom left, we imagine up to 100 personnel with a regional command center and with a technology development center taking advantage of all the benefits of Central New York and its opportunity to get us into other parts of the region. The team, I'm not going to belabor everyone's backgrounds here. We've got a lot of us have had the benefit of having exited businesses before, so that entrepreneurial capability, I think, is terrific. Lots of strong technology. Our CTO was at DARPA for 15 years, 17 years, depending on how you count it, and head of AI there for the last 3. We've got people with PhDs in swarming as well as AI. But the thing I do want to mention is across that board, a tremendous amount of us have public service backgrounds. Military, I was in the Navy myself. We've got Air Force, we've got other services, we have FBI, we've got state police, fire and EMS. So we're very committed to the idea of being able to follow the mission, and the mission continues. And with that, that just gives you an idea of how we can deploy our capability across multiple categories. And I'll wrap my comments up and take questions from the judges. Thank you. By the way, I'm bringing my team up. The team that is here, a small subset of that team that we had. We are, again, thrilled to be a part of the program here, so thank you.
Don, congrats again on the $11 million seed raise. Big milestone, but well done.
Thank you.
When we spoke yesterday, it seemed like your near-term market is mid-sized government agencies, state and local, public safety. And when we discussed your pricing, it felt high in that market. So while we can't put a price on life, I guarantee you these organizations will put a price on their DFR programs.
Fair enough.
How much of that price structure, speak in percentages if you like, is going to your specific value add in your software, your platform, and how much is going to partner hardware in terms of drones and docks?
So the way we currently charge based on the price, and it is high, just as a way of context, I'd say that current pricing has a target customer set. It's about 109 cities is the way we calculate it today, plus state agencies, which would be larger than that. And one of the things we are doing is looking at taking different components from our technology stack and bringing them to market a la carte for specific use cases. That has opened the door for some new clients. But to the specific question, it's about 80% today on average over a 3-year contract is software-based, and so that's flowing to the company. And then the other 20% is not the hardware, but it typically is services that go around standing up the operation and acting as a systems integrator to be forward deployed in terms of bringing this to market. The hardware itself, we actually don't consider at all as part of that number that I referred yesterday. That's sort of above and beyond. We take a small commission on that in effect, kind of a, and it drops to the bottom line, but we don't actually take the principal risk on the hardware itself.
So talk to us a little bit more about the specific secret sauce. So if I have an already existing drone first response unit, a police system, why am I coming to you versus other ones? What is that really unique capability that you bring to the table that others do not?
I mean, I'll start with the AI itself. So from back on the team page, we had a few people there who I think are amongst the very few in the world who can do this kind of swarming capability. So I think that's a really big piece of it. We've got literally our PhD, who is a swarming PhD, holds 11 patents in the category. We have Andrew Ang, who is probably one of the top 20 computer vision folks in the world, and he actually wrote our computer vision capability together with the current team. There's Brian from DARPA and others. So I sort of feel like we start with, hey, number one, it really works and it works well, and I think it's because we had so much time and effort to put into making sure that we had a world-class product, and when we win in the competition, it's the first thing that typically is reported to us. Hey, this actually works, and that's not always true. That's not an advantage that'll last forever. It's sort of an interim advantage, the way I kind of see it. Others catch up with that over time, right? So we look at it as a way of building momentum, and then as you build the momentum and you kind of become more and more enmeshed in places, because we switch from the synthetic data that we use to train the models when we start to a permanent sort of data based on real-world experience, that becomes its own moat. So the data ultimately becomes probably the best moat that gets us there. The final part of the answer to your question is, a lot of times we're being priced against what would it take if you had a completely staffed program, and that is almost always more expensive than us, so we make it a little bit more efficient economically.
So help me just kind of categorize what your product is. Are you an integrator? Are you an intelligence layer? Are you a platform? Like, what are all the pieces that come together to make it?
I mean, I don't want to say yes, which would be the pithy short answer. We use being a systems integrator, which we definitely are, as a way of selling into the public safety space. Not for defense, and commercial is different, right? But for public safety, what we typically get is an agency that reaches out and says, we've heard about DFR, we don't know what it is. We may own a few drones. There are 18,000 police departments in America, about 10% own a drone. Now, by the way, of that number, many own a drone because the local Rotary Club donated a DJI drone 3 years ago. So you'll hear this pretty frequently. Hey, we got a drone. We had a guy who flew it for us, or a gal who flew it for us, but they left the department. As soon as they get their 107 license, they retire and go work for Skydio. So help us figure out what to do with that. So what we'll do is we go in and we say, hey, no problem, we will be the systems integrator. That's that 20% that I talked about before in terms of the economics of the project. After that, it's a platform, and the real economics are around being a platform. So we sit in the stack, the technology stack, between the operating system on the aircraft and the user. And we are an orchestration layer that pulls those pieces together. Oh, and I think we're out of time. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Great job, guys. If you're in my line of work, you always live by a clock. Or you've got somebody in your ear telling you, wrap it, or they'll just fade you to black, either way. Thank you, Skyfire. Really appreciate it. Great presentation there. I'm pretty sure you have. You look like a pretty good crowd here. You've all been paying attention because in just a minute, you're actually going to have a chance to pick your favorite. That's part of the live poll that will determine our fan favorite award winner. That's sponsored by DoorDash. And also make sure, drop a business card at registration where you came in there, and you'll have a chance to win a door prize. 4 down means we have 1 team left. So, taking the stage now, Flux Intelligence.
Genius New York has helped us a lot in business development, making all the connections, all the warm intros to the market that was very much new to us, that has meant the world. So just being able to tell the story, and hopefully people will relate and feel the emotions of what I'm trying to convey.
What you just heard is how animals have signaled danger, territory, and movement for thousands of years. Today, we can finally decode that communication and prevent over $50 billion in human-wildlife conflicts. We are Flux Intelligence, and we are building wildlife intelligence to protect the world's critical infrastructure. So why are these conflicts happening? It's because human infrastructure continues to expand to wildlife habitats. And that's why human-wildlife conflicts are now happening every single day, from catastrophic bird strikes to costly train collisions and deadly car collisions. A single wildlife strike can easily cost over $1 million. And this is the $50 billion problem that's only getting worse. Our attempts to fix this have relied on legacy deterrents like fences or pyrotechnics. But animals are way too smart and adapt quickly. So what if there was another way? I'm Sarah. My background is in transportation, and I have huge passion for linguistics and wildlife. And this is where they intersect. At Flux Intelligence, we are literally decoding animal communication and applying it to speak to wildlife in their own language, telling them to stay away from critical infrastructure. To do this, we have our AI engineers working side by side our wildlife biologists. And the result? A powerful device with wildlife intelligence right on the edge, built for the most remote areas and extreme environments. And here's how it works. Once the unit detects an animal approaching a critical infrastructure, it deters them based on the species, the real-time behavior, and the context. and it also learns with each interaction. And this process allows us to build one of the largest and most valuable data sets on animal communication in the world. And it's not only thanks to our edge device. The Flux Intelligence software is today deployed directly into trains in Sweden in global partnership with Alstom, the leading train manufacturer. And here's what we say to Moose. And we don't stop there. We own patents to be both on trains and on drones, and are pursuing other integrations as well, like trucks or even robotic dogs. Oh, and if you're thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have this in my garden? Yes, yes it would, and we will have you covered in the future. So how did we get here? We've been validating for 5 years in Scandinavia and received global recognition. So I knew it was time to go global. So I packed my bags and my family and moved to Syracuse. Here I officially registered Flux Intelligence Inc. and made Syracuse our global headquarters. So we are here to stay. I hired a Syracuse native as our chief revenue officer, and we are building our commercial team from here. We also hired bioacoustic PhDs from both Syracuse University and Cornell. And perhaps you will begin to see us around. We are in conversations with Syracuse Airport to protect coyotes. We are in conversations with National Grid to keep squirrels away from substations, and many more. We are also bringing manufacturing to Central New York. By the end of this year, all of our edge units for the whole North American market will be produced by a local manufacturer. And it makes sense, because look where we were in September before joining Genius New York. And this is where we are today. We are trusted by global leaders across North America, Europe, and Australia, including commercial contracts with Denver International Airport, Parks Canada, or USDA. Since 2020, more than 60,000 animals have been successfully deterred. There is 60,000 potential accidents that didn't happen, and millions in prevented losses. We are Flux Intelligence, and we are creating a world where humans and wildlife coexist. Thank you. And for the Q&As, I would like to also include my co-founder and CTO, Thomas, on stage.
Thank you. Great presentation. You talked about a number of different applications. So what is your beachhead? So which market is going to take you from startup to scale, and why?
I would say it's already the first one. So right now we are mainly focusing on the airports, and just there we have $12 billion market. So we are going after the first 300 airports that have the biggest problems with wildlife strike, according to FAA. And just there we can scale up. But we are talking about other multi-billion segments. So private gardens is a huge one. We will be releasing a new product for the consumer soon. And yeah, do you want to add some others? I think that's it.
I mean, any infrastructure, so it's a pretty wide scope. I mean, we worked with roads already in Sweden, railways, a lot of different infrastructure.
So when in your presentation, you talked about the importance of your data set, and when we talked yesterday, you talked about combining public sources and your proprietary data set. Can you give us a little bit of a better picture of what's unique about your data set that is powering your AI? If I want to replicate it, how much time, how much money, what do I need to create a data set? What's kind of the value of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's The hard part is nature. There is not much technology in nature, so you have to actually deploy something, and you have to deploy something that works and works over long periods of time, and that's what we built. We have like plus 6 months of battery time. You can deploy it in any type of environment. We down to like -40 Celsius and up to like 50 Celsius. So, and that's a tough challenge. You can't replicate that without the product, and then you need distribution with good customers.
So you talked about your number of deterrences, but obviously there's two parts as you laid out. There's deterrence, but deterrence relies on the detection. So how do you account for success bias in your deterrence rate? How, have you validated that your detection rate is actually good?
Can I take it? So we've spent more than 5 years working with the leading wildlife biologists. So we've run countless trials where we have our edge devices and we have trail cams that are also looking into, is there wildlife activity, did we miss any? So we've done a lot of different case studies where we have seen that we can in fact detect the majority of those animals. We have not had problems there. The biggest thing for us is the deterrence, right? So make sure that we know the different playlists for each groups, and each species and each even group locally is very different. So that's kind of where we've been tweaking the most.
Thank you.
So a big piece of the system that you're advertising is the fact that it learns from encounters. Can you explain exactly how that process works, how the system learns?
Yeah, so the learning takes place in the cloud. So our units connect to the cloud and push all data up into the cloud. And then we take that data and we analyze it and we retrain our model when needed to. Usually we have models that are specific for regions, but then we also cross-train across regions of different species. So it's an ongoing loop. So whenever we have an interaction, that data gets pushed to the cloud, and then we'll start and analyze it and see if there's something we need to retrain with.
And to be clear, that's human in the loop analysis and changing.
Yes, there's some humans in the loop, yes.
So how are you accounting for risks of either sending the wrong signal or even other macro level environmental impacts of changing the patterns of wildlife as a result of your technology?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of look at it the opposite way, where we actually help wildlife. So think about fencing with a road. It prevents animals from actually doing the natural thing where they're supposed to go. In Sweden, we have wolves that have not been able to go cross-border because of the roads that have been built. And our technology can be a fence when it's needed to, and then not be a fence and let them pass when there's no traffic. So that's kind of how we like to think about it. I think we're actually providing something that's adaptive and actually works with nature, not against nature, like most other solutions do.
Thank you so much.
Great job, Flux Intelligence. Amazing. That concludes tonight's pitches, believe it or not. Let's get one more time for all these incredible companies. I told you at the beginning, right? These 5 wonderful people here will have the hardest job tonight. Try to pick the winner from those 5. Time now for our judges to step out of the room and do the hard work so you can grab your things and go. While they are doing that, it is now your turn to be a judge yourself, because we're going to have the Fan Favorite Awards sponsored by DoorDash. There's the QR code that you see on your screen right there. Scan that so you can get in and vote for your favorite. Once you've voted, yeah, there you go. Yep, once you've voted, you can go out, grab something to eat, grab something to drink, absolutely explore Innovation Alley while you're out there. And don't forget, drop that business card in the little bowl at the registration. That way you get a chance at one of tonight's door prizes. We will see you back here in approximately 20 minutes says 25, but I'm going to tell you 20 because it takes you like all that time to get back in. So go enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you back here in a little bit. All right, everybody, if we could get to your seats here, please. We were doing really good on time, so let's try to stay on schedule here. Grab your drink, grab your food, come on in. We got $1 million to hand out to somebody, and then another $2 million for the other teams. We also have our fan favorite award. Next year, we'll put a countdown clock out in the lobby. We'll count them down. All right, everybody, grab a seat. Here we go. Oh, I see the judges, so we're ready to go. I promise you'll have time to mingle afterwards. Ooh, yes, thank you. Are we close? Should we roll? What do you think? I can't see anybody up there, so if Chris is up there, I can't see you. All right, lots of great seats. If you sit down, we will continue the program and hand out our fan favorite award. That's my man, John Liddy. I can't do that. I can't whistle like that. All right, let's go. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Everybody grab a seat. The music stopped. John Liddy knows how to get people to move. Where's he going? He's going to have to come back every year and whistle to get people back in their seats. Okay, is that all right, John? You clear your calendar for one night of the year. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a great time to grab something to eat, drink, and also check out Innovation Alley and also vote for the fan favorite. Can't wait to see who it is. Here to announce the results of that poll and tonight's fan favorite award is Center State CEO's Senior Vice President of Inclusive Growth. It's Nora Spillane. Nora, come on up. Let's do this thing. All right. Where do you draw? Did you draw already, or where?
Oh, we did. We drew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you all for logging your votes. I'd like to extend our thanks to tonight our partners on the fan favorite, DoorDash, for sponsoring. That's right. Since joining the Center State Network about a year ago, they have shown a true interest in being part of this community, not just in making deliveries to satisfy late-night munchies, but taking part in our work and supporting those that live and work here. We're so appreciative that they've stepped up with a bonus prize to add to the other big checks we're handing out tonight. They've also contributed a couple of DoorDash gift cards for our door prizes tonight, so if you put your card in, be ready. Lisa? Okay. And And then Jeff, would you please do the honors? Dr. Andrew Drudds from Andro. And Jeff Rogers from Catalyst. Be sure to pick up your gift bags at registration. Okay. And now, before the results of tonight's official judges' results are unveiled, I have the pleasure of announcing on behalf of DoorDash the results of our live audience poll. I feel like PricewaterhouseCoopers up here right now. You voted, and the winner of tonight's fan favorite award is Lamar AI. Tarek, would you join me on stage? All right. His sneakers are better than mine. All right, back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Nora. There we go. I like it. Thank you, everybody. Now my pleasure to welcome to the stage Center State CEO, Director of Programs and Engagement, Kara Jones. She's going to say a few words and do the honor of announcing tonight's results. Just a minute. I'm going to give a little something about you, right? Rob spoke very well of her, but Kara absolutely has, and she's been so kind to me through all these years, but absolutely instrumental to the success of the Genius New York program since 2016. Has it been 2016? That long ago, huh? Wow, we've never aged. Kara helps recruit teams from around the world, literally, build those connections with the UAS partners, the collaborations, venture capital organizations. That's so key, right, in this sector. So now, let's welcome Kara Jones.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Guess what? We have officially outgrown the Marriott. I first want to thank Jeff, our MC. He's been doing this for 9 years, and you continue to support this program and our local innovation ecosystem, and we can't thank you enough, Jeff. Thank you. All right. I am incredibly impressed by you all. The teams that came up here tonight, we've been working with them for 9+ months now, and oh my God, the hard work they put into these pitches, the time, the effort it takes, it's a lot of work. And it's not easy to stand up here and pitch. I'm freaking out right now, so good job, guys. And I do not envy our judges right now. But before we get to the big moment, I do just want to pause and step back for a minute. Because tonight isn't just about one company winning $1 million. It's about something so much bigger that we're building here in Central New York. At Inspire Innovation Hub, our staff thinks a lot about how innovation actually grows. And the truth is, it doesn't come from just one program, one big pitch night, and one big check. It takes consistency, access, trust, people showing up, and founders doing incredibly hard things. Because building a company is hard, full stop. And if you're in the middle of that right now, we see you, and we're here to support you through it. And that's why this work matters, because no one builds alone. Now, Genius New York is a cornerstone. It's a flagship. It's what brings these world-class entrepreneurs and companies to our region and puts us on the map. But it is not the whole story. It's the person sitting in our Start It Business our Start It Business Basics course who's had an idea for 5+ years and has finally gotten the opportunity to sit down and make that idea a reality. It's our new Upstart Accelerator that helps move founders from I have a plan to I have a company. It's expanding in new industries like climate tech with our new clean tech accelerator with National Grid, because we know where the future is headed and we want to build it here. Thanks, guys. Yes. And it's about our community. It's our judges, our executive advisors, our mentors, our resource pool, our staff, people who show up every day and say, I want to help someone else succeed. That's how innovation ecosystems are built. Not in one moment, but over time, together. And what we're building at Inspire is pretty simple, I think. If you have an idea or a company, you know exactly where to go. Not just at the beginning, but all the way through. From that, could this work moment, to forming a company, to hiring your first employee, to raising funding, and all the things in between. Because innovation is a journey. And wherever you are in that journey, the question should not be if you should walk through our doors, it's when. And we are not just serving one kind of founder. We've built this place with more space, more people, founders with different backgrounds, perspectives, and doing lots of cool things. And that's what we mean when we say a true front door to innovation. And we're seeing that live here tonight in Genius New York. I've had the chance, as many have said already, to be with this program since day one, and every year it gets stronger. The companies get better, the impact gets bigger, but one thing that hasn't changed is how special it is. The people, the culture, the support, and the community. Showing up, filling this place year after year, excited to see what these folks are building in our backyards. So, let's give it up one more time for our Genius finalists. Seriously, well done. Well done, guys. All of the Innovation Alley companies that are here tonight, and frankly, all the innovators in the room. Because what you're building matters, and it's hard, and thank you for doing it in Syracuse. I also want to thank, obviously, Center State and Inspire staff. I seriously love coming to work every day and working alongside these folks. I'm pointing at everybody here. It doesn't happen without you all, so thank you. And I do want to mention two folks, our investment manager, Brad, and our program manager, Becca, who, yes, who from day one really get to meet these teams. I think Becca knows everybody's birthday and everybody's allergy, not even from this cohort, from the entire portfolio. So those little things matter, and really, thank you guys. Okay, so now for the big moment. I would like to invite Empire State Development's Dan Kalinsky and Center State CEO's Rob Simpson to the stage, along with our Genius finalists. Don't be scared. Come on, guys, everybody. We can invite the whole team. Let's go. More the merrier. Everybody, you all deserve it. Come on. All right, maybe not all of Motovolo. No, I'm just kidding. Please do not fall off the stage. This happened one year. Will this stage accommodate this wait? I don't know. We'll find out. Are we okay? Wow, all right. So tonight, I'll just repeat. We are awarding a total of $3 million tonight. One team will get $1 million. 4 other teams will get $500,000. And what was I going to say? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And we're all winners tonight. You guys are all winners tonight. We are so excited to see your growth in Syracuse and truly what happens next. I'm waiting for the music. Sorry. I'm not. It is now my honor to announce the Genius New York 2026 Grand Prize winner of $1 million. And the award goes to Flux Intelligence. Congratulations, guys. All right, as I mentioned before, we do have 4 other winners tonight. I am happy to award $500,000 to Lamar AI. All right, let's keep it going. All right, the next winner of $500,000 is Lighthouse Avionics. Congratulations, guys. All right. Our next team, you cannot miss them on stage. If you do, we're excited to award $500,000 to Motovolo. Good job, Dan. And last, but certainly not least, we are very excited to award $500,000 to Skyfire AI. Okay, teams will stay up here.
That concludes our event, and we kept it right on time. That was really good, right? Yeah, perfect. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations to all the teams, and thank you to the judges, the sponsors, and all of you who joined us here tonight. And now, go join us at Shaughnessy's Pub, where you can hang out, meet, greet, and talk to these fine finalists here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming.